What's up, Eagles Nation? What's up, NFL? This is Stephen Hyder here with Gate City Sports Channel, and today's topic is something that's been bothering me. I keep seeing it being repeated and repeated by a lot of the commentaries and a lot of the just basically these personalities, and the narrative goes something along the lines of, for a lack of nuance to this, Carson Wentz is overrated. Carson Wentz is not clutch, and the Eagles made a bad investment of $24 million a year in Carson Wentz. It's getting to the point where shit's got to get addressed. It's got to get addressed. It's too much. All right, y'all. Let's jump into today's topic. You guys will get exactly what I'm saying.
Because of it.
Carson Wentz, I like him a lot. But he's 4-14 in fourth quarter comeback opportunities.
So what's really annoying me about this storyline, and it's been said, and I'm going to point it out because I don't want to make this out to be like it was my original idea. It's not. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm just going to topple right on, but add my own flavor to it. Lord Brunson said this. Lord Brunson said, essentially, the Philadelphia Eagles are fucking up Carson Wentz's legacy. And when we look at this thing in a vacuum, okay, so if we're trying to isolate it and analyze what the hell's going on, what keeps getting left out of this conversation is the fact that you can look at these numbers and just say, like, oh, like, he's not clutch. He can't win the games when the games matter. But these things don't track when you make the play. Like, there's 11 men on that field. There's 10 other players besides yourself that have to do their job. If those 10 other men don't do their damn job, your legacy as the quarterback is the one that gets fucked. Those 10 other men are fucking with Carson Wentz's legacy. And I got to tell you, if we got players on this football team that ain't about this football team, if they're content with the one Super Bowl, it's time to get the fuck off. Hey, I appreciate everything some of these people have done. Look, I'll shake their hand. I'll go buy them a beer. I'll go buy them lunch. And you know what? They'll still be, to me, like, hey, you're a part of the team that brought Philly its first Super Bowl. With that said, it's time to go. If you ain't got no more desire, if you got no more heart to play, get the fuck off. It's time to go. You're fucking with this man's legacy. He ain't got that ring on his own yet. He wants it. And he's playing at a level where he should be in consideration for it. But you guys are fucking him over.
Dak is 15-10 in his 25 fourth quarter comeback opportunities.
This shit right here bothers me because one of my favorite classes when I was in college, and I'm not a math guy. I studied history, guys. I taught social studies for a few years. Like, you know, I'm not necessarily a math guy. It's not my strong suit per se, but I was always really into statistics because to me, statistics can be either the most useful tool in the toolbox or the most deceiving tool in the toolbox. And it's all about the presentation in which it's presented. And in my opinion, that's what we're seeing going on here is that we're focusing on statistics of fourth quarter comebacks, right? And we're saying, oh, he's 15 of 25. Dak Prescott is, right? And this is not a knock on Dak Prescott. I'm one of the few Eagle fans who will come out here and admit to you that Dak Prescott is a very good quarterback. I don't think that he has the same talent level that Carson Wentz does, but talent's not the only aspect to success as a quarterback, okay? I've been high on Dak Prescott since the draft because I was an NC State fan. I watched that Mississippi State and NC State football game where Dak Prescott dominated NC State. And by the way, that was an NC State team that had a lot of first-round draft picks on it that he beat like that. So I've known for quite some time that Dak Prescott is a very good quarterback. With that said, this fourth quarter bullshit that they're spewing out here, these statistics, it doesn't take consideration of all the things that go into that. Like, number one, most of your fourth quarter comebacks is when you blew a lead. You blew a lead. So something happened where you were put in a position where you had to do that. Because if you take a look at trailing at halftime, so if we just flip the statistic and let's look at it slightly differently, when people are trailing at halftime, it doesn't fucking matter who you are. You're fucked. Generally speaking, you are fucked when you're trailing at halftime. I'll show you an instance. I found this article that was done by Bet Labs, and it was written somewhere around the 24th, 25th, 26th, somewhere around that area of September of 2017. I can tell by the games that reference, okay? And back in 2017, the beginning of the 2017 year, they had analyzed halftime deficits and how quarterbacks had performed. Let me just give you a few of the records. And mind you, there may be some skew there, but they didn't skew in the positive favor yet. Aaron Rodgers in the first month of 2017 was 14 of 33. He lost 33 games when trailing at the half. Aaron Rodgers did. Let's find some other ones. Andrew Luck at that time was 10 of 22. Ben Roethlisberger was 17 and 41. Cam Newton was 8 and 25. Drew Brees was 16 and 64. Philip Rivers was 22 and 49. Matthew Stafford was 17 and 41. Matt Ryan was 13 and 44. The bottom line is, you want to lose football games, trail at the half. It takes very special talent to even come back a handful of times after trailing at the half. So, I'm going to continue this. And guys, this is not a shot at Dak Prescott. It's just that these talking heads are using him to basically make these comparisons. Well, I want to talk about Dak in 2018 because I'm not going to go back and analyze everything. If you want to do that and make another video to counter my points, go ahead. 2018, Dak Prescott in week 1 fell behind at Carolina. He trailed 10-0. He lost that football game. On the 23rd of September, he was behind at Seattle. He trailed 17-3. He lost that football game. On October the 7th of 2018 at Houston, he trailed 10-6. They lost that football game. Okay, at Atlanta on November the 18th, they trailed 6-3. They won that football game. Dak brought them back. On December 16th, 2018 at Indianapolis, they trailed 10-0. They lost that football game. What's the point here? You can throw stats however you want to throw them. It doesn't fucking matter. That's not what's going on. It's not that Carson Wentz can't lead a team back, just like it's not like Dak Prescott can't lead a team back. It's a bigger issue at hand. If you're trailing at the half, especially on the road, these were all road games. If you're trailing at half on the road, it ain't going to look good. And even at home, some of the games that Dak won. So he did come. I'll give you a second one. They led 13-3 at the half in Philly on November the 11th, right? And they allowed Philly to get back in that game, and they ended up winning 27-20. But they were outscored 17-11 in the second half. Not a good look. Versus New Orleans, okay? So they were at home against New Orleans, and they led 13-0 at the half. They let New Orleans come back with 10 unanswered points and barely won that football game 13-10. Now, this was a really rough stretch for Dallas because they had 2 home games against playoff teams, and then they had a third game against the Colts, which I believe also was a playoff game, and they lost to the Colts. That was a really tough stretch for them. Let's keep going here, guys. So, 6-0 on December the 9th. That was the other part of that football game. So from 11-29 to 12-9 to 12-16. At home against Philly, they led 6-0 at the half. They let Philly come back, erase that 6-point deficit, take the game to overtime, and then finally they were able to pull it off in overtime. To make matters worse, the last game of last year, they played the Giants. They led 14-7 at half, and they needed a 32-yard pass to Cole Beasley and a 2-point conversion to Michael Gallup in order to beat the Giants 36-35. My point being, it just depends on how you look at it. I'm going to put it to you this way. Imagine Dak Prescott drops back to throw that 32-yard pass. Okay? And in dropping back, throwing that 32-yard pass, Cole Beasley drops it. Dak Prescott doesn't lead that comeback. And now all the figureheads going into the postseason spin a narrative that says Dak Prescott isn't clutch. That's what they're doing with Carson Wentz. Dak Prescott doesn't control if the receiver makes the catch. That's the receiver's job. That's outside of him. This is bullshit. This narrative is bullshit. And I want to get into that. The narrative that's happening across the league.
Here, Carson's not winning enough games. This is an interesting, he's 1-3 against Dak. Carson Wentz is 4-14.
This narrative that Carson Wentz can't win tight football games, it's pissing me off. Quite frankly, it's pissing me the fuck off. Because let's look at those 3 games, guys. Trailed, 17-7 at the half to Washington. We know what the statistics say. Even for great quarterbacks, it's really difficult to turn that around. He did. He won that game. Went on what, 32 to like, I don't know, what was it 32 to like 10 run or 32 to 6 run, something like that. I mean, he went on an incredible run and won that football game. Versus Detroit, okay? Trailed 20 to 10 in this last game. We were trailing 20 to 10. He brought the team back. Okay? And the team brought us back too. It wasn't just Carson Wentz, but he was there. When the chips were down, he needed to throw. He threw the pass. Okay? Had the ball down the 1 or 2 yard line, hit the receiver in his hands. Cornerback didn't make a play on the ball, what it looked like the very first time we saw the play. Cornerback missed the ball, hit the receivers in the hands, couldn't secure the catch. I'm not saying it's an easy catch, but in clutch situations, can't put that on Wentz because Wentz made the throw. The receiver didn't make the clutch catch. In Atlanta, trailed 10 to 6. He won that game twice. Twice he won that game. How the fuck is Carson Wentz not clutch? It doesn't make any sense. I just don't get it. The only thing I can say to it is it has to do with this fucking league narrative. And that league narrative is if we can make Carson Wentz look bad, knowing that he's this great quarterback, when Carson Wentz spins it around and rallies this team, we've got extra talking points. And that's what this shit's about. This is a narrative that these commentators and these personalities are spinning so that way they have talking points. So that way they get more views. That way they keep this machine running. That's what this shit's about. And I don't hate them for it because we have to have talking points on YouTube as well. With that said, there's a more logical and a more fact-based way of doing these things. There's stories in that to talk about, look, Carson Wentz is making the plays. Like, what the fuck? It's not that he's not clutch. The rest of the team around him is not being clutch right now. And the Eagles seem to have this weird thing to where they're not really clutch until December. Late in November, December, we've seen it time and time again. When Foles came in and stunk the place up, the defense was clutch and kept us and won those games in December until he picked it up in the NFC Conference game and then picked it up later on in the Super Bowl. December of last year, the team wasn't clutch when Foles was in the game in September. It looked really bad in Atlanta. He stunk up Atlanta. And then we got our asses kicked until basically he caught fire in the second half of the Tampa Bay game. No one talks about that. It's all about Carson Wentz not being clutch. I'm off. I'm done, guys. Y'all know what time it is. Like, comment, subscribe. Y'all look to the bottom right. Y'all see that subscription button. Just click it. It'll take you to my site. You can subscribe and it'll bring you back. This is all I got, guys. Tell me what you think. Do you think Carson Wentz is honestly not clutch? Are you on that Nick Foles train? Let's be honest. There are figureheads, talking points, analysts in Philadelphia, in that area, who are on that Nick Foles train. And there are just people who don't like the Eagles that are on that, we're against the Eagles train. We're going to use anything we can to try to bring them down. All right. Let me know what y'all thoughts are. Comment below, guys. Let's talk. All right, man. Peace. I'm out of here, guys. Bye.